Welcome to Key Trends Spot, your daily dose of what's hot, what's viral, and what's next. From K-pop to culture, we spot the trends so you don't miss a beat. The stage lights had barely cooled from the explosive finale of Day 2 at the Anaheim concert. The echoes of fan chants still hung thick in the air, like magic dust refusing to settle. Confetti shimmered across the floor, floating down slowly like pieces of memory. The energy of the performance was still crackling in the atmosphere until almost imperceptibly, the air shifted. Down near the barricade, murmurs began to ripple through the crowd like the early tremors of something much bigger. Something unplanned was happening, and it wasn't part of the encore set list. Amidst the deafening roars of the crowd and the pulsating glow of army bombs that danced like stars in a galaxy of devotion, a quieter moment unfolded on the sidelines, one that many missed in real time. Jungkook stood near the edge of the stage, his shoulders slightly hunched, his head tilted downward. A subtle smile tugged at his lips, though his hands betrayed him, shaking slightly as they fumbled inside the oversized pocket of his black hoodie. He seemed to hesitate for a breath, then pulled out a small item, carefully wrapped. Beside him, a girl stood close enough that their shadows nearly merged. She wore a low cap that covered most of her forehead, a medical mask concealing the lower half of her face still, her eyes, visible only in stolen glances through camera lenses, sparkled with an emotion fans couldn't quite name. She reached out, her fingers brushing Jungkook's palm, and placed something into his hand. It was a small package, wrapped in silver foil with hints of soft purple, colors reminiscent of BTS's message of unity and love. The crowd didn't notice the exchange at first. Their focus remained on Jin, still basking in the spotlight from his solo performance. The cameras panned lovingly across his face as he waved to thousands of armies, that trademark-wide, sincere smile lighting up the stadium. He looked peaceful, joyful, even unaware of the quiet storm brewing just a few meters away from him. But Jungkook wasn't clapping like the others. He wasn't just a bandmate in awe of his Hyung. No, there was intent in his movement. Weaving carefully between the backup dancers and production crew, Jungkook stepped forward, navigating the chaos with a surprising stillness. His eyes never left Jin, as though every step pulled him closer, not just physically, but emotionally, towards something deeply personal. The girl followed, never too far behind. Her hand grazed his wrist for a fleeting second, not enough to draw attention, but enough to be felt. It wasn't a demand or a plea. It was something else entirely. A quiet nudge of support, the kind that lovers or soulmates give when words aren't needed. And though no one knew who she was yet, her presence was powerful in its stillness. Jin, ever the observant one, caught the movement from the corner of his eye. He turned slightly, brow raised in curiosity, just as Jungkook called out, "Hyung!" The word, though simple, was wrapped in layers of emotion, urgency, affection, and maybe even relief. It was the kind of tone one uses when they've been waiting for the right moment. And that moment has finally arrived. In front of tens of thousands in the venue and countless more tuning in through live streams across the globe, Jungkook stepped into view and extended the small gift toward Jin. There was no mic, no music, no dramatic lighting. Just Jungkook, vulnerable and sincere, offering something from the heart. Jin blinked, caught off guard. But his reaction was pure Jin, warm, humorous, and laced with genuine affection. He chuckled softly, tilting his head as he accepted the package. He asked something, his words drowned by the noise. But whatever he said made Jungkook smile wider and glance briefly toward the girl beside him. "She helped me choose it." Jungkook appeared to mouth, his voice likely lost in the chaos, but his expression clear. He pointed subtly toward the girl, who gave a small, respectful bow. Fans watching the live feed began to stir. The questions erupted immediately. Who was she? Why was she there? And more importantly, why did Jungkook seem so personal with her? Though Jin didn't unwrap the gift on stage, keen-eyed fans zoomed in as he lifted the small box. Tied delicately with golden thread was a tiny card. Some claimed they could read the words printed in soft script, "For the Taehyung who waited for us." Those 8 words were enough to set fire to the fandom's emotions. Later, behind-the-scenes photos would surface, Jin holding a bracelet, handcrafted with deep blue stones and 2 charms. One was shaped like a crescent moon, elegant and serene. The other, a pair of wings, symbolizing freedom and protection. The meaning was layered, rich with symbolism only those closest to them could truly decipher. Armies, still buzzing from the emotional high of the concert, found themselves overwhelmed all over again. This moment, so brief, so quiet, carried the weight of something sacred. It felt like catching a glimpse into a bond too intimate to explain, a secret shared not in words, but in actions. Social media lit up like wildfire. Fans dissected every frame, every facial expression, every hand movement. They noticed the soft curve of Jungkook's smile as Jin accepted the gift, and the respectful nod of the mysterious girl. It was like watching a puzzle slowly come together in real time within hours. Hashtags began trending globally. Jin gift mystery. Jungkook girlfriend. Anaheim, day 2. Everyone wanted to know more. Who was she? Was she a staff member, a longtime friend, or something more? But beneath the speculation and viral posts, something deeper lingered. This wasn't just a fandom moment. It was a symbolic exchange of gratitude, of patience rewarded, of love expressed without needing to be said aloud. The gift was more than jewelry. It was a quiet homage to the years Jin had stood as the eldest, guiding, waiting, loving his younger members unconditionally. It was a thank you wrapped in silver and sealed with sincerity. And for Jungkook, who rarely shares this level of intimacy in public, to bring a girl into such a sacred space meant more than most people realized. This wasn't just any night. This wasn't just any girl. Theories began swirling. Fans unearthed a clip from a Weverse Live months prior where Jungkook had mentioned, "When Taehyung comes back, I'll have something ready for him." Many had forgotten the line. Now, it echoed like prophecy. The girl's identity remained hidden, but a few fan cams captured moments that pierced hearts. Her eyes shimmered with emotion as Jin glanced at her and waved gently before exiting. It was a silent acknowledgement, full of weight. What struck fans most was her behavior. No theatrics, no self-promotion. She stayed behind Jungkook, never drawing attention, never trying to be seen. Her presence was like a shadow, subtle yet comforting. Even Taehyung, ever the playful one, was seen nudging Jungkook with a smirk as they exited the stage. Jungkook responded with a sheepish laugh and a slight shrug. It was wordless, but spoke volumes. The members knew. The next morning, Jin posted a photo on his Instagram, his wrist adorned with the bracelet, the charms catching the morning light. The caption was simple: "Some gifts don't need occasions." It was enough to send armies spiraling all over again. Across the world, fans reacted with tears, theories, laughter, and soft admiration. The moment had transcended being just a concert interaction. It was something symbolic, something that made time stop for a second. In those few minutes on stage, Jungkook didn't just give a gift. He opened a door, a glimpse into his world, his gratitude, and perhaps his heart. And that girl, whoever she was, became part of a moment that would be cherished forever. And maybe her name will never be known, Maybe her face will remain hidden, but the memory of that night, Anaheim Concert Day 2, will live on in ARMY hearts as a quiet love story whispered under stadium lights, shared between brothers, and witnessed by millions.
Some sort of pain, you caused a permanent stain, which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear, I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here, the sound of deafening fear. You don't die if you try, you just might get a little bit of trouble, K-N-I-F-E, right in your side, you will never see me coming. You don't die if you try, you just might get